All right, going live in three, two, one. Welcome everybody. This is the Working Title Experience. This is episode number 3, and for this evening, I'm going to have a special guest on this evening. Her name is Jackie Hollywood, and she's doing does a lot of. Hold on a second. Okay, I just said make sure I could hear myself and make sure we're live. She has her own TikTok channel. She has her own YouTube channel, and she's in radio, and she does a wide variety of different things. I'm going to just go ahead and bring her on, and we can go ahead and talk to her. Jackie, welcome.
Hello, how's it going?
Pretty good. I really like to be around people like you. You know why? Um,
Why?
you have a very positive presence. You put off a very positive aura. I guess I'm not sure if
Thank
that's
you.
the right word. I was watching one of your TikTok videos, and it was about a week ago, and I was trying to bring it up for this evening, but I couldn't find it, where you talked about world peace.
Oh
And
yeah, I know the video you're talking about. Yeah.
it was very inspirational. I really liked it. It really made me feel like, wow, this is the kind of person I'd really like to get to know a little better. The I worked in radio for a while, and you have worked in radio as well. And most of the people I work with in radio don't seem to have that kind of positive attitude. They're more like, they're more competitive, and they don't seem to care about other people around them as much. But you seem to put on this very caring attitude, and it was really nice. So
Thank you. I really care a lot about just people in general, and maybe those people in radio that you're referring to who don't really have that positive attitude and all they care about is work work work. Maybe they're the ones that are at the top right now, right? And I'm still working my way up because I care more about just being happy and having like a good sort of positive energy more than anything. And then I hope that just the work comes with that, and the money comes with that, and everything comes with that. But I do care a lot about just things like equality and just everyone just being happy. And I'm starting to sound more and more like a hippie the older I get, but I have this sort of a feeling inside of me where I just want everyone to just be like calm and peaceful. And yeah, so thank you for noticing that. That makes me happy to know that it shows on the outside.
so well, let me start off with where. So where are you living at? What city are you in right now?
I'm in LA, Los Angeles, where we all go to make our dreams come true. I'm from San Francisco, and I've lived in LA before for 2.5 years, but when I was younger, and I didn't quite get to where I wanted to get when I was younger. And for some reason, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go back home. I didn't really give up, so to say, but I just thought like life would be easier if I just went back to San Francisco. Now that I'm older, I realize that the job's not just going to come to me and land on my lap, my dream job. I have to go out and I have to work for it and I have to fight for it. So I decided to come back to LA, give it another go. And I actually just really, really like the vibe out here. I like the weather and just the sort of go-getter attitude everyone has out here. It makes me more motivated to do what I want to do versus living in San Francisco, which is all very tech centered, right? So I just thought it would make more sense for me to be out here with all the other creatives, and it's been going well so far.
So the environment is what you're saying. I mean, I've only been to Los Angeles once, and I know that's where where Hollywood is and all that. So it's more of a creative environment, as what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, of course, like the cliche LA thing is like, oh, everyone comes there to get famous, right? Or to be an actor or something like that, which, that is true. A lot of people do come here for that reason. But it's kind of it's a great place for all types of creatives, not just people that want to, act. It's it just feels good to walk around and kind of, I walk around my neighborhood and I see celebrities all the time, and it actually motivates me. I feel like, wow, look, there's, that person from that show or whatever, and I think like they're all here. This is the place where magic happens. You just have to work really hard and network, of course, that's very important. And this is a good place to network, right? So that's kind of my motive for wanting to be here, is to just meet the right people and get involved with the right sort of creative circles.
Gotcha. So what do you do exactly? What are you doing when you're in Los Angeles? If you'd like to
Yeah,
let us know.
so this exact seat where I'm sitting and using this exact microphone that you can see, I do a radio show, just like you've been in radio. I voice track for a station called Wild 106. It's out in the Central Coast, so like the San Luis Obispo, Pismo Beach area. So for those people that aren't familiar, it's basically halfway between the Bay Area and Los Angeles. So that's where my show airs. It's an afternoon show from 2 to 7, Monday through Friday. And, it's awesome because with radio, you can do it remote nowadays, especially with COVID. A lot of people are doing it remote anyway. So I've been doing it from my home studio for almost 3 years now for that station. So that's like my day to day. And then, of course, on the side, I've been doing TikTok. I've been doing TikTok. I want to, in quotation, say professionally for the last almost 2 months because I'm finally making money on TikTok. Before I was just posting for fun, and now it's more of like a motivational thing because now when I post on TikTok, I know that if I get the right amount of views, I'll make money. So now I'm really working hard to make sure my content on TikTok is valuable. People are enjoying it. And then what else do? I make music. That's always just something I've always done on the side as a hobby. And I have my own podcast. I'm just involved in a lot of different things. I like to dip my toes into lots of different creative outlets because that's actually what makes me happy every day is to be able to use my creativity. So even doing this show with you right now, it's, something that is fun for me. So
That's interesting. So I want to step back for a second. You talked about COVID. Now, wasn't there has there been a lockdown recently? Wasn't there a lockdown recently in Los Angeles with
yeah, California's taking it really hard. Right now, everything's not, I don't want to say everything's open again, but outdoor dining is open again. So things are kind of looking a little bit more normal. Like I can walk down the street now and I actually see people sitting outside and enjoying a meal, which is nice to see. But about, yeah, a month ago, it wasn't like that. Everything was closed, no outdoor, no dining anywhere. You had to just do takeout. So it was like kind of a second phase of a lockdown again. The Bay Area where I'm from was even more strict with that. So they were closed longer and things here kind of opened up a little bit quicker than San Francisco. But yeah, it's California's very, very strict with the COVID rules. Very, very strict. So it's been interesting to say the least.
so the how does that affect anything else that you're doing? Obviously, with radio, it's not really it's not really affecting you too much because you can still do your work. But like you've done some music videos, and for those who are wondering, you can check out Jackie's YouTube channel, Jackie Hollywood. Just type it in there and you'll see them. Are you doing anything with those right now? Has that been put on hold, or how does that work?
Yeah, music videos, that's hard unless you do a music video where you just are either by yourself or you have like a very minimal amount of people and you just have like one videographer that could potentially work. But yeah, it's interesting. I want to go to the studio, and record music. And I have a producer out here that I work with. And I did go to a studio a couple times during this pandemic. He told me that like everything was clean and everything was good, so I trusted it. And then I went there about for 2 sessions, and then he messaged me and was like, hey, he's like, I don't have COVID or anything, don't worry. But he's like, I've been seeing multiple people this week. And he's like, I just want to make sure that I don't, see any more people. So let's take a break. So we've been doing sessions over FaceTime, which is it's hard because like when you're not next to the person creating the music, it doesn't give you the same vibe. So although he's making a beat on his end and I'm over here in my place just on FaceTime with him listening to the beats he's making and trying to see like what I like and stuff, I don't get the same feeling. I feel like almost like a creative block when I'm not physically next to the person in the studio. So it's been hard. It hasn't really been the same. I don't want to, give up and just say I'm not going to work on music because of COVID. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm still going to try my best, but it has been a bit challenging and a bit yeah, kind of like a writer's block in a way when you're not used to doing things a certain way. But
Right.
we'll get it done.
So how long have you been doing music? Is this a lifelong thing or is this more recent?
Lifelong in the term of like I have always really liked poetry since I was a little kid. I would write little poems. Just growing up, I that realized shortly after that poetry can then translate to music or rap. So I thought this is cool because I like to rhyme. I'm good at it. Why don't I go into the studio and try to see what I can do. And I think naturally, when it comes to music, I sort of have a sound for it. So, you know, I can rap on beat pretty fast. I can do all these cool like little tricks and things. And I realized that early on. So the first song I actually released officially on, you know, Spotify or any kind of music platform was in 2017. So like kind of recently. Before then, it was just I was just make kind of music in my room for fun. But officially, it's been about 4 years since I've really been, you know, making music. Still as a hobby, of course. I haven't really, you know, made too much of a living off of the music, but it's more of just something that's fun for me.
I was really I saw you had on your main channel, your YouTube channel, you have like about maybe 3 or 4 music videos. I watched like 2 of them, I think. When I say I think, I mean, I watched 2 of them, but I'm not sure how many you had altogether is what I meant to say. Are those they were very well done, very well choreographed. That's just a hobby because they seemed really well made.
Well, thank you. It's a hobby because I mean, look, if it ever turns into a career and I can live off of my music, I will absolutely drop everything else and take it because that would be so much fun. I've always thought about it would be so cool to go on tour and do this whole thing. But right now, I can't really say, you know, it's a career. It is a hobby, but I do put a lot of work and effort into my hobbies because I enjoy them, right? I wouldn't do a hobby that I didn't enjoy. So I have, you know, spent not like a crazy amount of money or anything, but I've spent like a good amount of money just to make sure that I get something decent looking. A lot of the times I work with videographers who are in my sort of network or my circle of friends. And so I get like a good rate because they like me and they, you know, I tell them like, hey, I'll work with you again. So I try to find, you know, my ways to kind of get things done on my budget. So I never, you know, overspend, but I definitely have put money in to make sure that I get a really like cool looking videos. Cause if I'm gonna show them to somebody, I want them to represent, you know, what I love and what I do. I don't want them to fall short or like half-ass anything. So yeah, I've really I take pride in music. Making music videos is actually one of my favorite things to do because it's my own song that I made, but now I get to do a visual for it, and that's like really, really exciting.
How long does it usually take to produce one of those videos? Is it a long time or
On average, I'll do the shoot in either 1 or 2 days, depending on how like complicated the video was. I don't know which ones you've seen, but I have a couple of videos that were like a 2 day thing, and then I have a few that were just a 1 day thing. I actually have a video coming out very soon that was a 3 day thing, and it was the most intense production I've ever been a part of. And then of course the editing is I don't do the editing or anything. I have, you know, the videographer or a different editor works on that. Usually within about a week or two, they knock it all out, depending on how, you know, what their workload is with other stuff. But it's, you know, it's pretty quick if you work with the right people, but it takes a lot of time and patience, the days that you're shooting. There's a lot going on if you have, you know, a lot of people involved in the shoot.
Gotcha. No, I've done some amateur production. I did some public access television, like Wayne's World, if you remember that. Like,
Yeah.
way back in the day, I did some of that. So, but that was intense enough, and just doing that. And I can imagine what you're doing right there. That must be really. I mean, I'm sure the end result is very pleasing to you, and you enjoy it. But I'm sure that's a lot of what you're doing is really looks really. I mean, really complex. I mean, I don't know. What you're describing there, it looks like a lot of fun and also a lot of work. So. The one thing I did notice that was interesting was that you have a YouTube channel that is auto-generated. I don't know if you know that. Did you see that? I'm sure you know about this.
I assume are you talking about the YouTube channel that just plays my music, but it's not like my channel?
Yeah,
Is that what?
it's called if you bring it up, it's called Jackie Hollywood, and it says hyphen topic. And if
Oh,
I when
okay.
I was looking you up, to see what I could find, it came up and it said automatically generated by YouTube. So it's not something that I think you control. And I was interested because I've seen YouTube auto generate playlists
Hmm.
before for my own videos. Like if you watch my videos, because my channel is pretty popular, what they'll do is they'll generate playlists of just my videos so people can
Mhm.
continue watching them. But I've never actually seen an auto-generated YouTube channel. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I just Google. I mean, I just type that into YouTube right now to see what you mean, and I see it. I think what that is, if I'm not mistaken, is because when I release my music, just my audio on Spotify and all those and iTunes and whatever and all those other places, when I release my music, I have a distributor that I distribute music through. They're called AWOL. They're an independent music label in the UK, and they distribute everything for me. And I think that when one of the platforms they distribute my music to is YouTube, not my videos or anything, that's up to me to post on my own page, but they distribute my music. And I think what happens is YouTube somehow picks up that sort of link from the distributor and thinks, oh, maybe we should create she clearly she's, she has music out or someone's distributing her stuff, so maybe we should sort of make our own playlist, is what I think. I actually don't really know how that works, but I'm looking at it now. There's 12 subscribers on this Jackie Hollywood topic, which is funny. But I would never really promote that. I would just promote my own YouTube, I guess, since I'm the one that's putting in the work for those.
If you go to the About tab, you'll see what I'm talking about. It actually says auto-generated by YouTube, which is
Hmm.
really unique. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
that is
Um,
interesting.
you're the only person I've ever seen that has. I'm sure there's other people as well. But anyway, let's talk about what your TikTok. Now you've done what you're doing right now is basically gossip. Is that right? Or when you're doing your TikTok, Hollywood gossip, or what
Yeah,
are you doing?
Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. Hollywood gossip. You can call it celebrity gossip, for Hollywood reporting, whatever terminology you
Oh,
want to use. But yeah,
sorry.
that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now how'd you get started with doing that? Is that something you've been doing? I mean, you've only been doing the TikTok for a couple of months, but were you doing that in other places, the Hollywood reporting?
Yeah, so how that started, or that idea in general, the radio show that I do, the afternoon show, that same radio station, they have a morning show, and the morning show is hosted by a guy named Jojo Lopez. He's also the program director of the station. So he's my boss, but he's also the morning show personality. He, on his morning show, had a segment that he did for years where it was Hollywood gossip. And when I joined onto the radio station as the afternoon personality, he said to me, "Are you interested in doing the Hollywood gossip for my morning show? Like, is that something that you'd want to do? Just record, 4 stories and send them to me, and then I'll play them, and you'll have a segment on my morning show as well as your own afternoon show." Because he knew that I was always into celebrity gossip, and that was kind of my thing. Whereas he doesn't really care for it. He just did it anyway. And I was like, yeah, of course, that sounds good. He's like, I'll pay you a little bit extra. And I was like, when I was first starting out, I was like, yes, that sounds amazing. So for the last, almost 3 years, I've been doing these stories, 4 stories for his morning show. And TikTok started getting really popular during the pandemic, as we all know. And although I had a TikTok account for like a year before that, I didn't really use it that much. Or I used it, but it was more for fun and not really for money or for work. And then one day, my boyfriend, actually, I have to give him credit because he came up to me and said, "You're already doing these Hollywood reports every day for the radio station. Why don't you turn them into a video and make a TikTok?" And I was like, "Okay, I mean, I guess I could try that. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's gonna like it or watch it, but I'll try." So I did it. I did 4 stories on video. It took me a long time to figure out, how to use the green screen feature and kind of how to make them the look and sound good. And once I got the hang of it, I started doing them consistently every single day. And I started to notice that my numbers went higher for those than they did for any of my other TikTok content. Anything else I ever did on there didn't really work. But for some reason, these Hollywood gossip stories started getting popular. And then after about maybe
Course is official
Oh,
after
sorry. Oh,
7 years.
sorry.
oh, that's
I
okay. That was my voice.
was bringing up your TikTok channel. It
That's
started
funny.
playing
No, that's
automatically.
okay. After a few weeks of doing it, or just like a week or two, one of my videos all of a sudden went extra viral. I think now it's at like 10 million views now, but it went past like a million, and I freaked out. I was like, "What is going on? How is this happening to me? I've never had a video of anything I've ever done go that viral." So that made me feel like, okay, this is definitely working. So ever since then, I have not stopped. I just continue doing my Hollywood reports and posting every day. And it's just another at this point just like a job. It's I do it, I post it, and I wait and see what happens.
And this is something that you told me. I didn't know this. I'm sure other people know this as well. I didn't realize TikTok, you could actually watch that on a regular web browser, and also you can go up to 60 seconds now, which was something I did not know. Well,
Yeah.
I was still under the impression that you can only watch it on a smartphone, and it was only 15 seconds. So that works out pretty well for you. As far as how often do you upload a new report? Is it every day, every couple of
Yeah,
days?
so Monday through Friday I do four stories a day because those are the stories I do for my radio station anyway. So I'm already writing them. I'm already, looking them up. And then Saturday and Sunday is kind of like maybe, it depends what I'm doing. If I'm out of town or I'm at the beach all day or I'm doing something else, I'm like, yeah, I can skip a day. It's okay. It's a weekend. But if I'm home on the weekend, I still try to either do some Hollywood reports or post some other type of content on my TikTok just to kind of have something there, because consistency is everything. And if you take too many days off, it does mess with your numbers. So, the app itself wants you to use it as much as possible, right? TikTok wants you to use their app. So they're smart because they made this creator fund for people like me who make videos, and they decided to start paying for views. So now it's like, how could I not be motivated to make more content? So that they're smart for paying. That's for sure.
So was it easy to get into the well, with YouTube they have the monetization program.
hmm
So is it very easy to get in, or do you have to show a certain number of that you're strong enough to in the views to actually get part of that program? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, so it's similar with, I think, with YouTube, because I know on YouTube you have to have a certain threshold to hit before you can get paid. So it's the same with TikTok. TikTok, to get on the creator fund, you have to hit 10,000 followers, and you have to have I believe it's 30,000 monthly views to like basically apply for the fund. So once you hit 10,000 and 30,000 views, you can apply. And I don't even know why they make you apply, because I think if you have those things, you automatically get it, but they just
Hmm.
make you press like one button that says, I want to apply. And then they get back to you pretty soon and say, okay, you're on the creator fund. And then when you get on the creator fund, you now have access to your analytics for all your videos. So, the views, the followers, like all the graphs and everything that you need to see. And then, of course, your sort of wallet where you can see how much money you've made that day. The money lags by 3 days. So if I open up my creator fund today, I'll see how much money I made 3 days ago for whatever videos, were posted then. So it's actually really addicting. I wake up every morning and I open up my TikTok wallet because I want to see how much money I made. And, it could be anywhere from, you know, $20 to $200. It really depends on how many views I've gotten and how viral. If nothing went viral for a while, then I might get a small amount that day. But it's pretty fun it's like, yeah, it's like a game now. See how much I made.
Now to let you know, with YouTube, I was kind of grandfathered into to their monetization program. So I don't have to go I didn't have to go through any of that any
Mm,
regulation. I got in back when they were letting anybody in. So my channels remained popular, so I still have to meet a certain threshold, but I don't have to apply for anything. It's so nowadays, if you want to do something on YouTube, it's very similar to what you're talking about, a certain number of subscribers. Um,
mhm.
and I remember back in the day, I had like one channel I was monetizing and nobody was watching it, but they would let it monetize anyway. So they've really, they've tightened up with that. Now, as far as you said you've only been doing this for 2 months. As far as the videos before, have they gone up in popularity? Do people go back to see what you were doing beforehand?
That's a good question. I honestly haven't scrolled down to my old stuff lately to see, but I'm gonna say I doubt it because I have so many Hollywood report videos now. Imagine like I post four a day every day pretty much. So someone would have to really scroll for a while to get to my old stuff. So I don't think the old videos probably have gotten like that much more popular. I think it's just like a video to video basis. But I now at least I know what works. And I know that if I just try to act like a Gen Z kid and just dance on TikTok, like it's not going to work for me. That's not my thing. I can't do it. But I can do the news stories.
That's interesting. Now, I'm surprised there's not a feature like on YouTube. If you go to a YouTube channel, you could actually reverse the order in which the videos were released, so you wouldn't have to
Mm.
scroll all the way down. And what happens to me is the people will go back to my very first video, and it's like 30 seconds long. I made it back in 2007, and they'll look and go, "Oh, so this is where it all started." And I get a whole bunch of comments, and that video is
Mm.
actually very, very popular. So I was thinking that there might be something like that with you. When go, "Oh,
That's a good feature to have. I think that TikTok should do that. I don't know if they ever will, but that's actually a cool feature because yeah, I think when someone discovers somebody and they like really like their content, they're curious to see what they used to post or what they used to do. In my case, maybe I'm glad that people don't scroll all the way down because I was probably some embarrassing stuff anyway that I'm too lazy to delete now, but it's a good thing.
So as now as far as the Hollywood reporting, I mean, how much, how many different kinds of stories do you do? I mean, do you focus on one? I'm just kind of curious. How many different kinds of stories can you focus on? I guess that's what I'm leading up to. I mean, is it just one? I mean, I don't. How many different kinds of celebrities do you talk
Mhm.
about? As far as like what's going on in as the industry as a whole? I mean, do you discuss that, or how does that work exactly with your
So I
reports?
usually just pick like an actual celebrity to focus on versus versus maybe talking about, oh, this movie's coming out or anything. I like that, like you said earlier, the gossip, right? Because gossip is what people like to talk about or to argue about or to tell their friends about. So anything I pick, I'm gonna try my best to find something a bit controversial. Obviously, I can't make stories up. They have to be real, right? They have to be in the media. So I have to look at different sites like TMZ, Perez Hilton, The Hollywood Reporter, and a bunch of different sites, and I have to think to myself which of these stories are going to be the most interesting for people to talk about, or for people to want to share the video. So if it's like a really boring story about, oh, this D-lister got married yesterday, whatever, I'm not going to bother. But if it's like, oh, this person made a joke and it was insensitive and now he's in trouble and he's getting canceled, well, yeah, I'm going to use that story because that story is going to be the one people, talk about. So, um, it just depends on kind of what's out there. There are days where I look up stories and there's just not that much going on. Like there's not really that much juicy gossip. So I still do them. I just try my best to find things that are as interesting or as entertaining as possible.
Right. So as now the do you controversial stuff? I mean, you don't go way overboard on that stuff. You try to. I mean, I don't know how what TikTok will allow. I mean, do they limit what you can say? Do they crack down? I know some people claim that certain media companies, like Google and Facebook and YouTube, are censoring people based on mainly on politics. Have you ever
Mm.
been censored or anything that controversial or?
I have had two or three videos taken down, and not because it was controversial in that way, but because TikTok is very strict on anything cannabis related. So I had one video I did where I did a what was it? Top 10 things that celebrities spent crazy amount of money on. Like that was just a random TikTok I did. And the very last thing that I showed was Wiz Khalifa hired a guy to basically roll his joints for 10 grand. Um, Something like that, right? So I did a story about that and they said like, oh, this is against our guidelines. You can't talk about cannabis. And I was like, wow, that's crazy because I'm just talking about what someone did. I'm not promoting it. I'm not selling it. But they're very strict with that. I did another video before that had something to do with there was some kind of smoke involved. I don't even remember what I showed or did, but they took that off as well. So now I'm extremely careful to not post anything cannabis related. Um, I guess because TikTok has quite a young crowd, so maybe that's the reason. But anything else I've talked about abuse, like Shia LaBeouf and his ex-girlfriends, like sexual misconduct and things like that. Today I did a story about James Franco's lawsuit. Got settled and it was like a sexual misconduct lawsuit. So they don't ever take stuff down about that. But for some reason, weed is like this huge deal. So I think that's quite funny.
That's interesting considering it's like legal in so many states now. Or you think it
Yeah,
would
it's
that big of a
it's
deal?
weird. It's weird that they don't take down a story about how a guy did some such crazy things to his girlfriend and it's I mean I don't go into very graphic details, but I definitely say words like sexual abuse or um alleged violence and stuff like that, and they don't take those down. But one comment about anything weed related, and they're like on it. They're on it so quick.
So have you thought about expanding this onto other platforms, what you're doing with this? Uh,
I do post them on Instagram as well. What I do, so for TikTok, I separate them into 4 separate videos each time. But for Instagram, I just edit all 4 together afterwards after I post them into one like longer clip that's like a minute, 20 seconds, and I post that on IGTV. It does nowhere near as good as it does on TikTok. I mean, the reason is because on Instagram, it's just your followers who see your stuff on your feed, really. It's not random people don't really see it. I mean, if you hashtag it, maybe someone random will come by and see it, but it's really just your followers who see it. And on Instagram, I have 11,000 something followers. So that's the only people that can really see it. Now on TikTok, those videos show up on just the For You page. So everyone scrolling on TikTok has the potential to see my video. So I have a way bigger audience there. So even though I post it on Instagram, I just post it there just to post it, but it's not really doing anything for me.
what kind of numbers do you have? Did you say that right? If you did, I apologize. For on TikTok, how many people do you have on TikTok right now?
So on TikTok, let me give you the exact numbers since I have my phone in front of me. So I'm at 126.9 thousand followers and 8.1 million likes. And when I say 8.1 million likes, I mean that's across all my videos on TikTok total. And then if you go into analytics, there's a bunch of different numbers which they're complicated to go through, but on average, like in the last 28 days, for example, I can see you can see my analytics there. In the last 28 days, I've had 22 million video views. Like that number is crazy. I've never had anything like that before in my whole life. So it's
Uh,
makes me like feel
And
like something I've done is finally working.
that's only within 2 months too. That's incredible as far as the growth there. It
Yeah.
looked like it was going down a little. I mean, I only saw a glimpse of that. Was it
Oh, the analytics. Yeah. Oh, so that's just showing. So the down arrow was showing that in the last 28 days. Oh, let me try to get that over here. The video views went down by 3.8 million, which the only reason they went is because I had a really viral video last month, or I had 2 or 3. So those numbers shot up. So then my video views last month were at like we're at like 26 million. Now they're at 22 million. I mean, yeah, I went down a bit, but at the end of the day, the number is still so high that I'm like, it comes and goes. Things will go viral, and then they won't, and then they'll go viral again, and I just kind of post and wait and see.
No, those viral videos. Now, for me, I can't figure out YouTube's algorithm. I'll upload a video and it'll get like 1,000 views. Then I'll upload another video that's not much different, and that one will get like hundreds of thousands or even millions of views. And I've never quite figured out what makes it more popular because I'm not really doing anything much different to them. And I'm wondering if maybe YouTube selects certain videos and just tries to promote them. And I'm thinking maybe there might be something similar with TikTok as well. Is there anything that out of those videos those ones that went viral? What was special about them? Could you tell? Was there
You know
anything?
what? I tried to figure it out, honestly. Because I thought the same thing as you. I was like, I want to know why this one is doing well and the one yesterday isn't. I wanted to figure it out so that I could do every video and have every video go viral, right? That's the goal. But I looked at some of the ones that went viral into the millions, and I looked at some that stayed at like 6,000, right? Very, very big difference. And there's not much different that I'm personally doing. I just say the story. I think it literally just has to do with what the story is for me, because there's stories that people are going to scroll through and they're not going to find them that interesting, and then there's stories that people are going to send to their friends and be like, "Oh my god, can you believe this happened?" And once someone sends it to their friends, and they send it to theirs, they send it to theirs, and that's what happens. So it must be the story. I don't know if TikTok hears certain keywords that I'm saying that maybe they want to promote. So maybe if I say a certain celebrity's name, they automatically push that video because they know it's going to be big. That's the mystery of analytics and social media, isn't it? We'll never really know exactly how it works. With your YouTube, my TikTok, we'll just never really know unless you work at one of these platforms maybe and do data analytics. It's hard to tell.
So as far as the stories, are there any particular stories you'd like to see pop up uh, that make you feel like, oh, good, this is something I really want to talk about, or are they pretty much all the same?
I mean, yeah, anything that has to, well, obviously, like I want to talk about people that are well known. So sometimes stories come up that are pretty interesting, but maybe the person it's about isn't that well known. But for example, I'll still use some of those stories. I don't know if you heard this viral thing was going on about a girl who put gorilla glue in her hair. Do you know about that?
No, I've not heard this one.
So it kind of passed now. It was a couple of weeks ago, but there was this girl, a regular girl, went viral online because she ran out of this hairspray she uses called Got to Be Glue. That's what the hairspray's called. She ran out of that, and so she decided to grab Gorilla Glue, and that's like super glue. You don't put that in your hair or on your face, right? That's like for metal and wood and plastic. She grabs Gorilla Glue and like sprays it all throughout her hair, and then basically went online to say, oh my God, I can't get this glue out of my hair. And she starts tapping on her head and it's as hard as a rock. And she said that for a whole month, no matter what she did, her hair would not go back to normal. Like she shampooed it, she put coconut oil in it, she did all this stuff, and she was crying on the video. And she was like, "I don't know what to do." She ended up going to see a doctor or two in her area wherever she lived, and they couldn't help her. They cut off her ponytail, and they said, "We don't know, we can't get this out of your head without like hurting you."
Oh my God.
So it went so viral that a a doctor out here in Beverly Hills heard about it and decided to fly her out here. And he said, I will do a $12,000 procedure on you and get it out of your hair and you'll be fine.
$12,000. Just
Crazy.
wow.
I
Wow.
know. Well, they say it's a $12,000 procedure. I don't know why. I assume that's because, you know, without insurance, you got to do like maybe anesthesia and all this other stuff, and all the costs probably just add up. So they flew her out, did the procedure. They got it out of her hair, and she went absolutely viral. She's now known as the Gorilla Glue Girl. And there were paparazzi outside of the medical spa or the doctor's office she was at just to take pictures of her. And so I did a story on her, even though she's not a celebrity per se. You know, she's not Cardi B, she's not J Lo, but I did a story on her, and that story went absolutely viral because people were shocked at the actual story, and they thought, "Wow, this is insane," and they were commenting on it and stuff. So, I just look out for things that I think people are going to find funny or shocking, basically, or interesting.
So what happened? You got me curious. I mean, what did she look like afterwards? I should look this up
Go on
myself.
my TikTok and find out. No. They obviously, you know, she had long hair before, but they ended up they had to cut off her hair. So she just has kind of like a short bob now. Her hair is back to just being her normal hair, but it, you can look it up later. You can look up the video of her talking about her hair and just kind of like showing the glue on it, and it's just you feel bad for her, but you also think, why in the world would you put glue on your hair? I mean, that's kind of stupid. Like it makes you feel like, why didn't you read the instructions saying don't use this on yourself?
Yeah.
So it's a bit. Oh, another part of the story, actually, this gets interesting too. Before the doctor in Beverly Hills decided he was going to help her, she actually put up a GoFundMe because she was trying to raise money so that she could find a place to get the stuff out of her hair. So she raised, how much money did she raise? She raised like 20 grand or some crazy big number. And so after she got her free operation, people were like, "Oh, so what are you going to do with that money now? Are you going to keep it? Like, that's a scam. Were you scamming us?" She ended up donating all of the money that she made to people that need reconstructive surgeries but can't afford them. So she donated all her money to this cause. So now people are like not upset with her anymore about it.
Oh, it kind of reminds me. I don't want to insult her too much, but there used to have this thing. I don't know if they're still around, called the Darwin Awards. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
Oh,
Where
I think so. Yeah, like the just to stupid people.
yeah, usually in those cases, people actually died though because they did
Oh.
something so stupid. Yeah, it's this kind of seems like it falls into that category. And like I said, I'm not trying to insult her or anything. People all make mistakes.
I mean, it was pretty stupid. I don't like to insult people either. But you know what she did, yeah, it just makes me think like before I put something in my hair, chemicals of any kind, I would thoroughly read the back of the can and be not 99% sure, but 100% sure that it's okay to put on my skin or my hair. She clearly didn't read it or didn't care that it said otherwise. So, it's hard not to be sort of mean about the situation because it's pretty dumb. But she's fine now. It wasn't life threatening. She didn't die. So it ended well for everybody, I guess. Now she's famous. Now she's like making money off of her merch because now she's selling these Gorilla Glue t-shirts.
So she got something out of it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're gonna do something dumb and get famous for it, the best thing you can do afterwards is keep on the right track and do something with that. Like do something with your 15 seconds of fame. Don't throw it away. Make merch, figure out a way to make your brand bigger. So she is doing that. So I will give her props for that.
So as far as now, I'm kind of changing the subject a little bit. Now, as far as like the people that, I mean, I'm not sure how TikTok works. You actually get comments. That you said that a second ago about getting comments. Yeah. So is it like YouTube? How does that work exactly? You have to pardon my ignorance about that because I don't.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's the same as any social media platform, really. I mean, you can like with a heart. You can just tap it and that's it. You can write a comment. People can reply to. It's very similar to YouTube. You can reply to someone's comment inside of the app on the video. Another cool thing about TikTok is, let's say someone writes me a comment and they ask me a question, or it's something that blows my mind, something they write, I can respond to their comment in a video. So for example, earlier you mentioned I did a video on, world peace and love and everything like that. That wasn't just me doing a random video. That was somebody writing a comment on one of my videos and saying, asked me, if you had 1 minute to say something to the world and every country and every language could understand you, what would you say? And I thought that question was so interesting. I really, really liked it. So I decided to answer her in a video, and that's the video that you saw. So that's a cool feature that TikTok has that I don't think any other platform has.
Well, I guess, I mean, directly, right. I mean, you could do that on YouTube by just creating a random video and then say you're responding to a comment from another video that was left on another video, I guess. But you're saying this is directly tied into the comments, is what you're saying. Is that right?
Yeah. So if somebody else is scrolling through where she wrote that comment, wherever that comment was, and they, instead of seeing me type out an answer, they can actually see the video answer, and then they can click on the video and it will take them to the video that I recorded. So it's all kind of like blended.
Okay. Now, do you get a lot of support? Like, do you get a lot of positive feedback in the comments section? Are there a lot of trolls, or
both. With online stuff, you have to expect trolls. If I didn't have any trolls, then you're not doing it right, because if you're doing something and people can see you and you're a public figure of any kind, you can't expect everyone to like what you're doing and saying. But I will say the good comments that I get, the majority of them say the same thing. And that is either asking me if I'm a real news reporter, or like what channel I work for. Those comments are really nice because I don't work for anything. I work for myself, and it's cool to have people say, "Oh, you should be on E," or "Do you do CNN?" or those kinds of comments, or comments saying something about my voice. People like the reporter voice, but all the trolls that are on there, it's usually not directed towards me. Sometimes it is, but it's usually directed towards the story that I'm posting, and then they make it about me. So they go, so if I do a story about someone made an insensitive racial joke, right? I'm just telling the story. I never include my opinion in any of the stories I post. I only say what the facts are. People will say, "Oh, you're just one of those that you think everything's this and that and that." And I'm like, I didn't even say what my opinion on the story was. I just said the story. So I definitely get comments like that, but they don't bother me. They do the opposite. They make me laugh because I'm like, you are adding to my engagement, and you are a reason I'm getting money. So thank you very much.
So as far as the what you're doing, you said you're not really doing anything, but you are technically doing it for the radio station still, right?
Yeah, I'm doing those stories for the radio station, but they're a bit different. I usually do the same stories, but they're longer form on the radio. So I do about 4 stories, take me about 2.5 to 3 minutes when I do them on the radio. That's how long he wants them to be. And then on my TikTok, Each story is only like 20 seconds. So I shorten the script a lot to only get to the main points. I don't really give details in the stories. And sometimes, like the Gorilla Glue story, I didn't do that one on the radio because he only wants like A and B list celebrities for the radio. He doesn't want anybody that someone may not know about them. So I reserve some of those stories for my TikTok, and I don't do those ones on the radio.
Is there any kind of conflict? Do they know that you're doing this on TikTok at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time?
no, they know. He like my boss, he loves and supports it. He's it's really cool because he's always rooting for me. So anything new that I do, any podcast I start, any TikTok, whatever, he's always like in my corner clapping for me and wishing me the best. So it's really nice to have somebody to work for who doesn't just want to keep you all to themselves, and he's very much like go and spread yourself to the world, and hopefully you'll stay with us as long as you can, kind of. That's kind of his attitude, and I really like that. That's why I'm still
Good.
there.
That's good. Now, we've talked about you have your music videos, you have your radio career, and you have your TikTok. Is there anything else in particular that you're really? I know you have your podcasts. Is there anything you'd like to tell us that you're also doing that may be interesting that people would like to know about?
Yeah, I mean, other than all those things you just mentioned with the podcast, those are pretty much the main things I'm doing. I'm always looking for new outlets and kind of new ways to spread my creativity. Speaking of cannabis, which we just talked about, I'm very interested in the cannabis world, especially, I'm in California, so it's a big thing out here, but I've actually always wanted to work with a cannabis company. So I'm kind of reaching out to some and seeing what I can do for them and how. But nothing's like really happening quite yet, still in the early stages. But yeah, those are the main things that I'm doing. Just trying to have fun and be happy every day, really.
And no, you have to excuse my ignorance once again. Cannabis is actually legal in California, right? I forgot what they.
Yeah, very much so. It's been legal here. Well, medicinally, it's been legal here for a long, long time, but recreationally, it's it's been how many years now? Definitely like more than 3 years, I think. It's hard for me to imagine when it wasn't, because you can just walk down any street here and there's a dispensary on every block. Like, so it's hard for me to even imagine the time when it wasn't legal. But yeah, it's a growing business in any case. It's on the rise, and I'm sure more and more states are going to legalize it eventually. So I'm just trying to get in while it's still fresh.
Gotcha. Now, I am curious about your podcast. Now, you said you did other podcasts. Is there anything in particular you'd like to promote or talk about?
Um, my podcast is called Delete My Number, and how we came up with the idea. It's me and a guy, my co-host. His name is Ethan, or he goes by E Money. He's also a rapper, actually. He's a musician, but I went to college with him, and he ended up getting on an MTV reality dating show called Are You the One on season 6, so a few years back. So when he got onto this reality show, obviously his popularity grew a little bit, and he got off there, and he still kept making music, and I stayed in touch with him. And then when I moved to LA, he lives here. I reached out to him and I was like, look, you were on a dating show. You're single in LA, looking for love, always going on dates, can never really settle down. I'm the opposite. I'm in LA. I live with my boyfriend. We have different perspectives on kind of dating and relationships. So I was like, we should do a podcast and, have both of our perspectives on things. And so we started Delete My Number, and it turned into not just like a dating and relationship podcast, but I do a little bit celebrity gossip if there's anything really exciting to talk about. We just kind of catch up and talk about what's going on in our lives, and we call it like a therapy session for us. That's kind of what it's turned into. So it's like an hour-long therapy session every week, and a lot of it is pretty inappropriate, but that's mostly him, and I just laugh at it. He's very inappropriate, but it makes the podcast funny. And I like that. So that's something that I'm doing also just for fun for the time being.
Where's that found at? Where can people find that?
Anywhere where you listen to podcasts. I mean, Spotify is probably the main place that, it's available. We uploaded onto Anchor FM. So they distribute it to a few different places, but I would say Spotify is probably the best way to listen to it.
Okay, well, what we can do is when we're done with this show here, you can send me some links, and what I'll do is I'll post everything in the description down below. So if anyone's watching this and it's not live, you should be able to go down there and see those links, and you can see what we're talking about directly.
Sure. It's actually an easy way as well is my website, JackieHollywood.com, has all my links to everything. So it has my music, my podcast, my social media, my just all that stuff jumbled into one. So if somebody wants to just find everything, that's probably the easiest and most simple way to get that. Well, I'm just noticing how dark it got because
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sitting by a window and it was really light on me in the beginning, and now it's like really dark.
So I do got to ask. As I know you like to do I mean, I assume you really like doing. I mean, the celebrity, the gossip and everything, and the Hollywood reporting. I mean, how much do you like it? Would you like to actually expand on that? Maybe take it somewhere else, another direction, maybe different kind of reporting. You ever think of doing direct news reporting, or you just want to keep doing the same thing?
When it comes to reporting, I've all growing up, I was never into like hard news, I still am not into that. I don't watch the news ever really, or politics or anything like that. I stay out of it. It's so negative to me. So I've never been the kind of person that wants to report on news. I think I'd be good at it because I think that I can read a teleprompter really well and I can enunciate well, but it's not something that would really make me happy. I would love to do the sort of Hollywood reporting on TMZ or on E, like interviewing on the red carpets. I mean, that's what I personally want to do, or even hosting some kind of show on MTV. Something really like young and fun. That's kind of where I thrive, and just basically nothing too serious. I'm not a serious person at all. So anything that's kind of just like fun, lighthearted is where I would like to take it. So yeah, if anybody is hiring who's listening and they want to use my reports, I'm available.
Just go to JackieHollywood.com.
Yes.
No, as far as I mean, so I mean, you would be willing to do something that's fun, that's in another realm. I mean, obviously, I can understand not getting into the serious stuff because I don't like doing that as well. But I'm trying to think of anything else in that would fall into that category that you would be.
That's what I always do every day. I think about new avenues, new ways. Where can I expand? What can I do? That's kind of like what I wake up thinking about. So if you think of any ideas, you can let me know.
I mean, you could if you. I mean, this is just a suggestion. I mean, if you're talking about going to like where they go, well, like if there's some sort of event, you could actually go there and record yourself at the event and use that as a TikTok video. I don't know if that how that much.
Yeah, I mean that sounds great. It's kind of like a COVID situation where there's nothing happening yet. So eventually, when concerts and things are back, hopefully by the end of this year, who knows? Especially in California, I definitely would want to sort of take my reporting to like live events. But that's just going to have to come with time and wait for that.
I got you. So as far as I'm trying to think, the hold on one second here. Um, I'm trying to look at all your links right here. Yeah, I'll promote. I've got all of your links here. I've got JackieHollywood.com, your TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Um, I can't. I think that's it. Oh, and you have your YouTube links. I'll post those as well. Anything that you'd like to promote? Anything upcoming that you're planning on doing that's going to be released soon? You'd like to promote?
Like I said earlier, I do have a music video coming out soon, but I don't actually know the exact date. It just depends on when the editor is done with it, but it's called Catch Flights. The song is already out on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, wherever you listen. So the song is out, but I've been waiting for this video. It's the one that I worked the hardest on, the one that took me 3 full days, rearranged my entire house to had a green screen. I mean, it was a big production, but like all done on a budget and all done locally, mostly in my house, some stuff outside of my house. But I'm really excited to see that one. So you just gotta kind of wait, wait until I post that on my social media. I guess it hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks.
Gotcha. Now, what's the name of the song again?
It's called Catch Flights.
Catch Flights. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, how long did you take? Is that you say that the productions you really like it? Is the song one of your favorites as well?
Yeah, I like the song a lot. It's very different from the other songs I've made because I'm yeah, it's more like the chorus is more singing. The rest of it's rapping. Normally I don't really sing. I just rap. So I really enjoyed recording the song and yeah, and doing the video. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun one, little production.
So, okay. And how many, is it just you? I mean, as far as the songwriting, that's just you, right? I know you might have, I don't remember you saying there was anyone else that helped.
Well, so production wise, obviously the beat is not mine. It's a producer's, and then I either buy the beat or I just work with them and they get half later. But in terms of the lyrics, for this particular song, I wrote all of them myself. I have a couple of songs where I've had like the producer give me some ideas, and so I give the producer writing credit if they gave me any kind of ideas. For Catch Flights, that one was all me, so I think I'm more proud of it too because I know that it was just me, and that makes me feel like I can be more proud of something that I did on my own.
Okay. Well, it's been a nice hour here, so I guess I would go ahead and wrap everything up.
Yeah,
Is there
thanks for having me. It was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Now, if there's anything else you'd like to say before we wrap anything up, everything up to my guests, to my viewers. I mean, I'm sure we've got positive comments. I don't know if you can see them. People are liking.
Yeah, I do see him. All I can say is just do what makes you happy in life. If you have a job that you absolutely hate but you have it to make ends meet, well, don't quit it just yet, but find something that makes you happy, work towards your goals. There's no reason to be miserable, really. I know there's so many miserable people in the world, and there's really just no reason. You have one life to live. Like you're gonna sounds morbid, but you're gonna die one day. Why would you want to spend it being miserable and being unhappy? So that's how I'm gonna end it, is just try to find a way to smile every day and be happy and see how your life changes when you do that.
That
So
was very good. Very good. All right. Well, thanks again, and for everyone who's watching this, thanks for watching, and hopefully we might have another show this week with another guest. Stay tuned, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's it. Right,
thank
hang
you. And sorry for everyone who's had to see my light go really, really dark.
on. Yeah,
I didn't like plan for the sunset to happen for some reason. So my apologies. But hopefully you can still see me. So thank you.
hang on for a second there until this is done here.
Okay.